This is a question that is a standard question that comes up nearly every single year in relation to the National 5 paper, and it comes up as part of the topic of quadratics. The question tends to be put in the same format. It will say solve the equation, then it will be a quadratic equals 0, give your answer correct to one decimal place. Sometimes it will say 2 decimal places, in this case it says 1. Now if you ever get a question like this, your brain should instantly go to the same thing, and that's the quadratic formula. You should start instantly thinking about that and how you can use it. So the quadratic formula, it appears in the formula list, but it's x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now the a, the b and the c within this formula come from the coefficients of x squared, x and the constant at the end. So when you get a question like this, there's a few steps involved. First thing you need to do is identify the a, b and c. Then you substitute them into the equation, sort the bit under the square root, get your two answers like that in an exact value form, then plug it in a calculator and off you go. So if I look at this, I can determine my a, my b and my c simply by looking at it. So in this case, my a is the coefficient of x squared, which is 3. My b is the coefficient of x, which is 9. And my c is the constant at the end. Now this includes the sign as well, negative 2. So I've got my a, my b and my c. I can now just plug it into here. So in this case, I get x equals negative b, so negative 9, plus or minus the square root. So b squared, 9 squared, take away 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is negative 2, all divided by 2a, so all divided by 2 times 3. So sort what's in the bracket in the square root first, and then take the whole thing apart. So the negative 9 stays the same, so it's negative 9 plus or minus the square root. Well, in this case, we've got 9 squared, 81. We've then got 4 times 3, which is 12, times negative 2, which is negative 24. So it's 81 minus 24. 81 plus 24, it's 105. And that's all divided by 6. Now that we've got this, we could split it and get two roots. This plus minus part here gives me the way to calculate both of those roots. So I then know that x equals negative 9 plus the square root of 105 over 6. Or it can be the other version where I've got the subtract. Negative 9 subtract the square root of 105 all over 6. And now at this stage, it's just a case of plug it in the calculator. If you stick it in the calculator, you'll get your two solutions from that. So your first solution for the plus will give you 0.207 and then a whole lot of stuff after that. Second solution for the subtract, you end up getting negative 3.207 and then again a whole spiel of stuff. It just keeps going on and on. We then look back at the original question and figure out a rounding. In this case, it wants one decimal place. So if it wants one decimal place, I take my first root and I get 0.2. I've then got my second root here, gives me negative 3.2. So there you go. You've got your two roots. You've got your two solutions to the quadratic. And it's done the exact same manner. Again, just make sure when you get a question like this, you look for these key parts. Solve the equation and then telling you a set number of decimal places to put it to. If that's the case and it's a quadratic here, think straight to the quadratic formula and think about using it.